It starts to change your view of what your priorities are. So what is important today is not necessarily important tomorrow, and what seems unimportant today may actually become incredibly important tomorrow.
Welcome everyone to another Marketing Society evening. We are going to be having a very interesting conversation around brand today.
So one of the things that we find commonly is that clients want greater certainty around their strategic brand decisions. So if you're going to do something major with your brand, or you're going to change your brand, that's actually a very big commitment. The aim of this is to try and provide not necessarily the right answer, because no one's got a crystal ball, but to try and provide something that actually gives greater certainty around that decision, and to actually enhance what is often used in terms of experience and gut feel, to actually put some data and some insight behind that, so that you're more certain than you would have been that the decision is right.
In healthcare, we have the brand, but we also have products or service lines, right? We have dermatology, we have cardiovascular surgery. We have different departments, medical departments. But that's also changing in today's world. So how do we structure that in a way that is appealing to people almost in a branded way, right? Creating medical departments in a branded way, as opposed to talking OB-GYN versus women's health.
If anything, I think shows us the value of brand versus reality, it's the IPO valuations on what these companies are getting. I mean, they haven't made a cent, a dirham of profit, and they say that openly, and they also say, we're not likely to make profit for the next 8 to 10 years, but bear with us, and maybe your children will realise the value of the shares that you've got. So yeah, I just think it's a kind of interesting, it just proves to me the value of brand measurement and equity in building that. I think there's three kind of enemies of brand management in the region at the moment that I really try and face head on and slay. And in no particular order, they are short-termism, communication, and tactification, which I obviously just made up there, but the importance of the three-stage process, and the three stages for me are like diagnosis, which is market research, then strategy, and only once you've done those first two stages should you even let anyone talk about tactics. And I think, in terms of approach to brand development, is trying to take on those three enemies head on. I think then it's incumbent on us to get those research inputs, to really be humble and really understand what our consumers are saying about our brand, because all of us overestimate the role of our brands in the life of our consumers, right? We do, 100%. Ultimately, the brands that we look after, no one really spares 2 or 3 seconds of thought about it, but for us it's the world. But I think having that research input that helps us understand the context and the market orientation is super important.
In a lot of organizations, actually, it's IT-led, which is a huge issue. Yes. With all my respect to people in IT, they know how to build technology, but they don't know how to build it necessarily for people. And that's what we do. That's what we do. We understand people. That's what marketers do, because we are the eyes and ears of the organization, right? We're the first people exposed to customers.
Why is BAV, better than some of the more known models?
In terms of BAV, it's very interesting. It was something invented by Walter Landor 25 years ago, and it's one of very few normative brand databases. So the other one, as some of our colleagues here will know, is BrandZ from Millwall Brown. But once you go beyond BAV, and BrandZ is better known, but once you go beyond BAV and BrandZ, there aren't actually very many really fully validated there are lots of ways of measuring brand, but not in a fully validated way. I mean, I think that when I compare the two I know best, which is Brand Z and BAV, the truth is that they both have strengths and weaknesses.
When we do this type of work in this region in particular, I think there are challenges, but actually I think it's not down to the quality of research or the quality of the ability of agencies in this region to do quality research. I think it's often the fact that clients will let themselves be driven by other departments who are contributing towards the budget, and ultimately what they're getting out is not really helping them to define what they need.
One of the biggest challenges around data now is that data is so numerous and plentiful. The real challenge is to use that data from a strategic, top-down point of view. We've got more than enough data that will tell you whether to do a Facebook filter or whether to do another execution on Snapchat. I mean, that doesn't move brand equity. That may be very important in running the business week to week or day to day, but the challenge is to take all the data views that we have and to use that from a strategic, top-down point of view that will actually move mountains over time.